Call him the hello. The hello is always really poppy, and it's weird.
Hello!
Have you ever tried not being a mutant?
God, that was unpleasant in real life.
That was so long,
Okay.
dude. Oh my
His
god.
hellos are better than that.
So do it like that and you'll be fine.
Is it bad that I can't hear? Mop.
Hello, and welcome to A Star to Steer Her By 10 Forward number 8.
Whoa!
Yeah. Solo, a Star Wars story.
Whoa. But this is a Star Trek podcast.
It's also like the third time we've covered Star Wars.
I know.
Did you ever play Yoda stories?
Listen. There's a tie-in. There's a tie-in, so it's fine.
Yeah, I hummed the theme to Star
You
Trek
did.
Next Generation.
And Clint
at the beginning
Howard
of
was
the
in it.
film.
That was my tie-in. It's like
yeah.
another Clint Howard tie-in.
Oh, you're wearing that shirt I gave you.
Yes.
Thank you, Jay.
So yes, going in, obviously we are going into this, we're spoiling the fuck out of it from the off, but assume that aside from Solo itself, that any of the Star Wars movies are also on the table to be spoiled, so we haven't seen
Everything.
Last Jedi
In fact,
yet.
let's spoil all movies that we can.
There's even
Rosebud.
a chance we're
I was
going
going to say Rosebud.
There's even a chance we're going to have to spoil the TV shows a little, which we normally don't do, but...
TV shows?
Yeah, we'll get to that.
Is there more than one? Is it just Clone Wars?
There's Clone Wars and Rebels.
Droids.
That is not canon anymore.
Ewok Adventure.
Not canon anymore.
Caravan of Courage.
Not canon anymore.
And yet this movie is.
Yeah. So, yeah, let's just dive right in with Jake. Jake,
Are we
tell the
diving in
folks
with
what you
Jake?
did. Yeah.
So,
Take us away.
So, yeah.
Yes, in the tradition of
we're
10 Forward's not going to worry about summarizing.
We're not going to do a plot detail.
Go see the
but-
movie. It just
yeah.
came out.
And if you don't want to see the movie, I'm sure you will fully appreciate and understand what has happened by the end of the show.
Yeah.
Well, I was going to say, summarizing it, we get to see young Han Solo have adventures.
Yeah. So
we get
many
to see him
adventures.
become Han Solo.
And
there you go. That's
was
it.
there
That's the
any
whole
question?
summary.
Was there ever any question you had about Solo's upbringing? They're answered. Done.
But not satisfactorily.
But yes, Jake.
So, before we went to see the film, I should state in advance that...
We're gonna take a picture of this and put it up too.
We even have a picture
already
of
is
it.
a
It was
picture.
emailed to
yeah.
us. So on the was it the day of or the day before?
I did it earlier in that day.
Yeah. So that day, the day that we went to see Solo,
The
which
day we
was
went to
what,
see Solo,
Sunday?
I decided I was, I haven't done a lot of research on this film. I don't know a lot about what was planned. Really, all I knew going into it was a Han Solo origin story.
And Donald Glover was in it.
And
Those are the only two things I
Danny
knew.
Glover.
And then it was probably
Danny,
gonna
Danny
Stop
Glover
calling
was
him Danny Glover.
Danny
Why
Glover
do you
was
do this?
getting too old for this shit.
Well, I think because a lot of people thought they were related,
Oh.
and also
they're
because
both famous
Danny and
black
Donald
men.
are very close. They will start with D.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, I think it's racism. Actually, I think racism is probably why we do it. But
See, what I want to try to do is convince people that Donald Glover is actually Crispin Glover's son. So anyway, you're
So
morning of.
I went through. I did a list of my predictions.
holistically,
Knowing that this was going to be an origin story, and knowing how stupid origin stories tend to be, and how they always have to have little bullshit stuff in there.
Well,
Big and little bullshit stuff.
90% bullshit
that it's
stuff.
a big fan service. It's a big fan wank.
Yes.
So I tried to put together a list of all the things that me, as a Star Wars fan, would love to wank about. So this is my Solo predictions wank list, and we're going to go through it, and we're going to say which of these actually happened and which of them did not happen in the movie.
Yeah.
So
I
these are major spoilers. So
this is where it starts.
These are so spoilery. I came up with them before I saw the movie.
Yeah,
And
I have 3 addenda that I had,
Okay,
and I think only one and a
We'll
half
start
of
with
which
these,
came
and then
true.
we
but
can go
did you
through
write them down
everybody
and
else.
email them to
didn't.
us because
No.
we
That's
can't,
true.
we
I
can't
did.
prove
I
that they were
emailed it
real.
out before we saw the movie, just so no one would think I was cheating.
Yeah, no, we saw these earlier, and it is almost... I'm glad he did email them, because something on here is so fucking
specific
ridiculous that I
that
can't believe it.
Can we
still.
should we leave that one to the end?
yeah, I'll save that.
Yeah, it's
for
pretty
the
high up on the list, as you will see in the photo we put online, but we'll save that one for the end, because oh my shit.
end. And I will admit that it's probably 50-50 about half of these did not happen, but we'll go through it.
Yeah.
50-50 is still a damn good
It's more. I
percentage.
think it's actually more than that, but
Well, we'll see. So, first one on the list. Someone gives Han his famous blaster.
Yep.
it did happen.
That happened in the movie.
Correct. Check it off.
That was an easy one.
And
though.
it was
Like
Woody Harrelson.
It was Woody Harrelson.
And it was actually broken down from a larger rifle.
It wasn't quite as meaningful though as I was thinking it might.
Yeah,
be.
they didn't make.
I
quite
thought they'd
as
be
big a
like,
deal.
oh, he like it was Woody Harrelson's blaster, and
Yeah.
then he's dying, and he gives it to Han. Is like, yeah, carry on the.
Yeah, no, it was just a random
family
rifle
business.
he owned.
I kind of like it when it's not like a big built-up thing. Though.
Yeah, although personally, I would have preferred if he didn't get the blaster at all. You know, because it's just a...
There's like 15 more pieces of fan wank to give us, so...
Yeah.
It's true that.
But it
okay.
was sort of meaningful though, because he kind of learned some of his most important lessons, arguably, from Woody Harrelson's character.
Shoot first?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, honestly, I thought that lightsabers were going to play a bigger role in this movie because it's Star Wars, but they don't play that much of a role.
That one guy had those...
Like
Lightsaber
blade.
daggers.
So yeah, a number of mine do involve lightsabers. They're all wrong, but we'll go with it. So my next one was he uses the blaster to defeat somebody with a lightsaber. A la Raiders of the Lost Ark, the guy with the big sword that Harrison Ford just shoots casually.
Yep.
I figured they'd pull one of those, like a little remember when Harrison Ford did that?
Shouldn't have
Even
brought
though it
a
wasn't technically Han Solo.
sword
And
to a
it
knife
plays
fight.
into his line in the original movie, like, lightsabers suck. You gotta have a blaster,
Yeah.
kid. But that did not happen. So I'm gonna make an X on that one. So I'm 1 for 2 at this point.
But we should say, we do think we're probably going to get a sequel, so we still have time for these predictions to be
We'll get
right.
into our sequel prediction. Or our
Yeah,
sequel.
what's his nut? Alden Ehrenreich, the guy who plays Han, is contracted for at least 2 sequels if they do them. So
Given the box office situation, we'll see. All right, so I'm going to skip the next one and we'll get back to that because that one I think we saved for last.
Yeah.
Yes.
So my next one, somebody tells Han the odds because Han says, never tell me the odds. Unfortunately, unless I missed it, nobody told me.
I was listening
waiting.
for
There
it,
was
and I
some
didn't.
gambling scenes. I was waiting for someone to be like, "Do you know the odds of beating that hand?" And then he'd be like, "Nobody tell me the odds."
Or when he was like, "Oh, we'll do the Kessel Run some other way."
I feel like there was like a couple of almost telling him the odds
Almost,
moments
but
too.
never quite.
Like, you're gonna go and get the
Refined
Refined
googly space fuel.
coaxium.
Thank you.
I wrote it
I have
down.
coaxium cable.
Oh, you're
for
better
my
than me.
TV.
That's all I could think.
So that did, again, alas, did not happen. But this one did. The Kessel Run in 12 parsecs.
But apparently only if you round down.
That's what it's true. So, again, I feel like you're probably sitting there, you're thinking, man, Jake's getting all the easy ones. Like, these ones were obvious. Of course they were going to do the Kessel Run. Of course someone's going to give him the blaster. The next one, a bet with Lando. That did happen.
Twice.
Two bets with Lando, but I am only going to give myself 1 check.
Well, it also wasn't specifically a bet with Lando. It was a game of cards with Lando.
Yeah, but by the
Fish
end it was
betting.
1-1.
Yeah,
That's
it was a
true.
bet.
Okay, yep. You're right. I'll give it to you.
bet.
Nope.
All right. Someone calls Chewie a walking carpet. That did not happen.
It did not, no.
No. People, they did call him the Beast.
Yes.
I was half expecting the Beast to be that monster from Return of the Jedi for some reason.
the
Sarlacc?
No,
No.
the thing was like...
Oh, a Rancor.
The pig look.
Yeah, I actually was kind of expecting a Rancor also.
But I like that
But
it
then
was
I heard
Chewie.
it make a noise, and I was like, oh, it's Chewie!
I mean, they definitely were. They set it up to kind of feel like the Rancor scene.
Yeah.
So I mean,
Oh, yeah, because of the cage and
I'm
the
not
chains
convinced
and
I like that it was Chewie, because it feels like he's a sentient being. A sentient being is...
He is a sentient being.
Well, that's
Yeah.
just that's just driving home the fact the Empire.
The Empire has kidnapped him and is abusing him.
Yeah, and they
starving
don't
him, and
consider him sentient because
even though he's
evil.
190 years old, looks
Yeah.
damn good though.
All right, my next one. I think this one I should get some credit for.
No,
Yes.
it definitely happened.
What was it?
Chewie rips arms off.
He did.
Yeah.
We know that's referenced in the original movie.
And
And
then
it
it's
is
referenced again in this
arms
one.
because he rips both arms off one person.
Yeah.
And actually, I don't think you said anything about this on your list, but we did see what happens if you don't let the Wookiee win.
What was that? I missed this.
He was playing
was
chess
trying-
with Woody Harrelson
trying to
and
destroy the board.
trying to sweep
Oh,
the,
yeah, he was trying to flip the table.
pieces off the chessboard. But
I did
That's
like
true.
that.
They're
That was-
holograms.
That was a good use of fan wing.
Yeah,
it was
I liked
subtle
that.
and it was in character and it was nice.
And it also shows us that Chewbacca does not get any better at
Yeah, no,
at holographic chess.
Okay, so Chewie rips arms off. That did happen.
Yep.
Han has to dump his cargo. As we know, that is why Jabba the Hutt is after him in the first movie.
Oh my god, I forgot you wrote that one.
And he did dump his cargo.
He absolutely dumped his cargo.
And he got in trouble.
A lot of trouble.
Yeah.
Got a lot of people killed.
Oh, sad.
No, they'd already died.
Yeah, they'd already...
in the aftermath, they got a lot of people killed.
But they died in vain because he got
which was kind of a bummer.
So, yep, Han did dump his cargo. Chewie gets his crossbow.
He didn't, did he?
He didn't.
No. He got a stick.
But he did get his...
Bandolier.
His bandolier.
It was a bandolier. It's not his final one.
That's true.
No, it was 2.
Yeah, but he gets a different one later.
Yeah,
I always think of him canonically as having the bullets.
No, he has
like blocks.
rectangular things in his.
Oh, they're not bullets?
No.
Oh, I always thought they were bullets.
They're probably supposed to be like energy packs or some space bullshit.
But this thing that he had on had that.
No, it was Y-shaped and they were sort of cylindrical.
So Chewie did not get his crossbow.
He got a nice zapping stick, which I really liked.
Yes,
though.
yes, he
did. That was pretty sweet.
Okay, now I'm starting to get into the weeds here with like the really wanky ones.
Yeah.
So bear with me. Greeno.
Greedo.
I call him Greeno though because
he does because
green.
he's green. And because you're Jake.
So I predicted that Greedo would show up.
It's so weird that you have that speech impediment where you pronounce D's as N's. It's very strange.
But his cousin, Oranjo, did show up.
Yeah, so he did get a Rhodian.
And, as I said, perhaps he was
a giant nerd.
He is a giant
Maybe
nerd.
he's a cold-blooded creature and changes color depending on the environment.
I was thinking that perhaps, like birds, they have different coloring when they are adolescent. So this could have been an adolescent.
Or it could have been different. The different sexes have different colors.
Luckily, there was a scene that was never used from episode 1 that would have proven this wrong, because there was going to be a scene with a very young Greedo that luckily got cut.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Oh, wow.
But it got cut, so your thing about him adolescent could still apply.
Well,
I don't think it was
I'm
Greedo,
not taking
though.
credit for that. This one was way out there.
Yeah.
Dash Rendar.
What is that?
He was the character in the Shadows of the Empire game who was like a discount Han Solo.
Yeah, because it's set during the period he's frozen in carbonite.
Akona?
Akona?
Yeah, he's like
basically.
Akona.
Why didn't Akona show up?
I don't know. So
Too busy getting that
I don't know even why I
pregnant.
put that one down there. So I'm going to put an X on that. That was not true. All right.
Oh, God. Hold on.
I've broken Caitlin. I'm sorry.
I predicted that Boba Fett's ship would play a role in the film.
It did not,
It
sadly.
did not.
But Vision did have a set of Mandalorian armor among his many trinkets in his office.
I don't know what that is.
Who did?
Paul Bettany.
Paul
Bettany, the guy who played the villain. You don't get all that
What?
shit. The suit Boba wears is Mandalorian armor.
I thought that was his dad's suit.
Well, yeah, but it was Mandalorian armor.
Oh.
Mandalorian is a species.
Is that like a...
No.
Okay.
But, he had a set of Mandalorian armor among the many pieces of junk in his background, as well as a giant crystal skull, which might have been a reference. I'm not sure.
No.
He's really into crystal skulls.
Did Dan Aykroyd sponsor this movie?
I'm not getting much more out of this list. So here we go. Young Luke or Leia cameo. Did not happen.
No, not
I'm
not
great.
even a
I'm
little
glad,
bit.
though.
See, because I predicated a lot of these on the thought that Han's going to end up on Tatooine, but he did not. Which is why I get the next one, that we would see the Mos Eisley bar that we see in the first film, where Han hangs out.
Sorry, it's a cantina?
That's true. Cantina, for some reason. Then here we go, another lightsaber one.
Aww.
Han uses a lightsaber as a tool, which is why he knows how to use it to open the yak.
Tauntaun.
Tauntaun, yeah.
Tom. Man, how did they get lost on Hoth if they had a Tom?
No.
Do they still make Tom-Toms?
God, I hope
Probably.
not.
I'm sure they do.
Alright, so that did not happen anyway. He did not use a lightsaber. Oh, here's one that did happen. Hiding shit under the floor.
Yep.
They hide shit under the floor. We saw that in the first Star Wars.
Yep.
And now it happened in this movie. Prequel Jedi cameo, and I predicted it would be Kid Fisto because I just love that guy.
Yeah.
He probably
his
got
name
killed.
is- He was by, I think he's actually one of the Jedi with Mace Windu when they confront Palpatine.
He didn't use his fist, though, huh?
Did we recognize anybody to make this true?
I did not, however... no.
I'm sure
you
there's a
can't
background
count, no,
character,
because
but-
I already got that in another one.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
doesn't count. Okay, so no, we did not see a prequel
Kid
Jedi
Fisto.
or Kid Fisto. I think I should get half credit for
You
this
should.
one.
I
Yeah.
think so, too.
What is it?
that Jabba the Hutt
he wasn't
would be
in
involved.
it or
We didn't
named
see
directly,
him.
but referenced
But he
like
was
5
referenced
times.
as the gangster on Tatooine.
I'm
So
pretty sure they said the Hutts at some point, but I might have been hallucinating. So.
They
I'm gonna
may
give
have, but
They
they
were
didn't.
talking about the
half
pikes.
credit. He didn't show up, but he was referenced.
Yeah.
Before you get to your big one, I had I'm just going to throw in 3 little ones
Mm-hmm.
that I had just walking into the theater that I told Jake that are not in the document, but I remembered having them. One
I didn't get 50.
that I did get is that they would mention Scarif, and they did.
Yeah, which that yeah.
And Jake gave me a big nudge, and I was like, yay, I got one right. They mentioned Scarif as a place that exists. One that I did not get right was that there would be a brief cameo by a Porg, just because they need to sell more toys. You need to sell so many fucking toys. There actually weren't any good fucking critters in this episode.
Yeah, no cute animals. In
No
this
Weird
animals.
monkey pilot guy.
Oh, I loved him.
We'll get to him.
Rio.
But yeah, how are they going to sell fucking toys for this movie?
His name is Rio and he...
is fucking dead.
And
Spoilers.
well, yeah.
The one that I'm going to call myself as getting half right is that I predicted that there would be a C-3PO or R2-D2 cameo.
There were a
was
bunch
not.
of R2-D2s, though, I saw
Well, no,
in the background.
there was not. But Anthony Daniels continues to be the only person who's been in all of the Star Wars films because he played Tak, the Wookiee that Chewie gets to hang out with.
Oh, no shit.
In normal life, he plays C-3PO.
He wasn't very foppish.
He was more foppish than the other Wookiees.
He has a little thing called range.
Don't hurt
Jake.
them! Please, be nice! Don't tear off their arms!
So I'm giving myself half credit for
That's
that
fair.
one.
That's fair. And now, Jake.
Alright, so... One of my predictions, and I have to say it was my third prediction that I made on this list, was that an old villain would return. Now, that's probably easy, right? And then I made two
Sub-predictions.
predictions related to that of who the villain might be. Now, the first one I thought was safe, so I said Boba Fett. Boba Fett did not show up.
No,
That was
they're
wrong.
saving him for the sequel.
But my second,
Are they still going to make a full
out of
movie?
all the villains
really,
in Star Wars, I said
Read it verbatim.
Darth Maul! Never mind, he's dead.
In caps, in quotes.
Now, listeners at home, I was so annoyed that this was right that you would think I had money on it.
I think we laughed for like 5 minutes.
We did
Well,
bother
I was
the
gonna
entire
say,
movie
yeah,
theater.
no, we pissed off at least the row in front of us, but probably everyone else, because Jake and I looked at each other and we're just like, for like 3 minutes, like we do pretty periodically on this show, but Chris always edits out because he's a monster.
So,
But, yeah,
in
no,
case you haven't figured it out, Darth Maul is in this movie.
Darth Goddamn Maul. Again, I was so annoyed you would have think I'd had money on it or
Thank
something.
you. Thank you for that sympathetic cold chill you just
So,
got me.
I don't think I quite got 50% because I had a run of bad luck
Yeah, but
here.
I think the big one counts for extra points.
Yeah, no, the fact that of all Darth fucking Maul,
He's alive!
which now this is where we sort of spoil the shows. Now I knew that Darth Maul was actually still alive in canon. He shows up definitely in.
How does he live? How does he live?
He's got robot legs now.
Yeah, but he had the torso cut in half. All of his intestines would have flapped out.
Look,
He's not human, Ames.
yeah, he's an
Maybe
alien.
not.
He's an
Ah,
alien,
that's
so we
true.
don't know where his
He doesn't-
organs are.
Yeah,
the
he's like a
Night King.
Vulcan. He's like a Vulcan. He keeps
Yeah.
his heart where his liver should be, and
He's
all
the
of his.
Night King from
and his-
Game of Thrones.
And his junk is at the back of his neck.
And
Well,
he's
he just needed
also-
to talk to Daenerys, who was in this movie. So there you
He
go.
also somehow kept himself alive just through, the dark side of the Force or something.
Yo, that could work. I mean, Leia did fly through space.
Yeah. But anyway, so he has been shown to be alive in the Clone Wars cartoon. And I think he maybe even appeared in Rebels. But the idea...
Does the
hold on.
Clone Wars cartoon take place at the same time that the Clone Wars movie takes place?
It takes place between episodes 2 and 3.
Well, so this is
Okay.
even much later than that, right?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, because
because this is
Reasons.
like, what, 10 years before?
I don't know exactly how long
The
before
original
episode
series?
4 it is, but it's somewhere
I mean,
in there.
how much older is Han supposed to be than Luke and Leia, and then math occurs, and it's
Yeah,
too
this-
much.
So how
Can't
old was
be
the
much,
how
though,
old is
right?
how old is young Han Solo in this movie?
12.
That
I
is
would
not
say
clear.
18.
No.
21?
I was gonna say 25.
I think younger. Because they were kind of kids. He was being trusted with his first big mission with What's-Her-Face.
They were teens in the camp. And
Lady
then
Proxima.
3 years passed in the meantime.
Yeah, so between, we'll say, 19 and 21.
Okay, so maybe it's like more like 15 years?
I don't know.
Han Solo is supposed to be in like his mid-30s.
Yeah, like I think Han was supposed to be like Harrison Ford's age in the first one. So
do we ever know how old Chewie is in the?
I didn't even know
he
was that old.
This is the first time his age has been given.
Supposed to be like
he certainly had to be older because he appears as an adult in episode 3.
That's right. But still, I mean, like that wasn't like episode 3 was only like 25 years before.
Yeah, but either way, he was at least slightly older.
Well, how old is Luke and Leia supposed to be?
I feel like they're like
25.
They're like 18.
They're young. They're little.
So the Empire hasn't even existed that long.
No.
Oh.
I mean, look
then
at how
why does Darth Vader look 1,000 years old when they take his hat off?
Darkseid was eating him alive.
Oh.
And also because, like, he's more machine now than man. He's just got his shit all hacked up.
How come Obi-Wan Kenobi looks 1,000 years old?
Living in a desert planet without sufficient sunscreen will fuck up your skin.
I guess so.
And he was a huge smoker.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. Those death sticks that he got from Sleazebaggo.
Sleazebaggo.
That's the guy's name.
I know. But I wish it wasn't.
But yeah, interestingly, the idea that Darth Maul could have survived the events of Phantom Menace were actually established when episode 3 came out, when they released a little like anthology of comic stories that had, and I'm not sure if these were supposed to be canon or not, but it featured an older, again, machine-legged Darth Maul showing up on Tatooine to try to murder like 10-year-old Luke or something. But middle-aged Obi-Wan shows up and stops him.
Oh. And Luke became the boy that lived.
Why would he assassinate Luke and not Obi-Wan?
I mean,
Obi-Wan cut him in half.
I think he wanted both of them.
Oh.
And I think maybe, if anything, he was going after Luke to try to draw out Obi-Wan, maybe. It's been years since I read it.
Well, so here's the thing, right? He only shows up for like 30 seconds.
Yeah, at the very end, basically.
Just long enough to light his lightsaber.
Yep.
It's in case you're like, oh, am I supposed to know who this guy is? Oh, he's the lights up, Darth Maul. So he shows up for a couple of seconds, and he's like some kind of gangster.
Yeah, it turns out he's head of Crimson Sun or whatever.
Crimson Dawn.
Crimson Dawn.
But like, he was like a fucking not Jedi, the
Sith
Lord.
Well, yeah, but he lost, and so he was probably disgraced by
and which is the apprentice,
Palpatine and stuff. Palpatine was probably like, "Get the fuck out, you little bitch!" Yeah, Ovaltine. Be sure to drink your Ovaltine.
I mean, well, you know,
dude, that kid delivers that line so well. It's like,
what kid?
Have you ever A Christmas Story?
Oh.
When he gets the "Be sure to drink your Ovaltine." Son of a bitch! I was like, wow, that kid gets it. He nailed it.
I've seen adults in things that don't know how to swear.
Oh my god, 430 fuck whatever psychosis. Remember when we saw that shit? Mm-hmm. Do you know it?
No, I
Sarah
don't.
Kane. What the fuck is it called?
I don't fucking
Is
remember.
it a play?
Yeah, it's about like a woman.
Well, anyway, the short version is one of the characters in it swears an extraordinary amount. And
why you gotta cut me off?
Because we were not here to discuss some play we saw years ago. The point is just that
it's about a psychiatrist and her patient. That was all I was gonna say.
Wow. Well, god damn it, Caitlin. That's cool.
But one of the women is supposed to swear a lot, and you could tell the actress.
And I fucking love you, and you just fucking don't. It's like terrible. It's worse
you
than
could tell.
that.
Like, you think it was like a person that didn't swear.
She's like
normally.
never said fuck in her life for
you
sure.
You could tell they don't usually swear.
Can I just say farting instead?
Aww.
But I freaking love you.
Aww.
So
like.
Yes.
Was Darth Maul presumed dead, you think?
Probably, yeah.
Oh man, my glasses are filthy.
Although
we're not here to talk about your gross glasses.
Apparently.
We're here to talk about what Sarah Kane plays.
Wait.
Although, admittedly, he must feel doubly pissed off because fucking Palpatine could somehow sense when Vader was nearly dead on Mustafar thousands of light years away. So he must feel extra pissed off.
And he doesn't have a leg to stand on.
None of them knew.
Was Count Dookie also a Sith Lord?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, he was...
Dookie, but didn't he die? Didn't they kill him?
Yeah, Anakin lopped his head off in episode 3.
Gave him a Gave him a haircut.
Haircut?
Yeah, because they mostly call him
That's
Count
a
Dooku.
close shave.
They mostly called him Count Dooku, but he was also Darth Tyrannus because George Lucas is a bad writer.
Darth Tyrannus.
Actually, this movie,
Saurus Rex.
this film
finally
explains why all of the names in Star Wars are so stupid. It's because you're given a name simply based on some shit you say.
Yeah, that was really fucking
probably
lame.
The way he got his name.
Sleazebago, somebody was like, hey buddy, what's your name? He's like, I don't know, I'm just a fucking sleazebag. Alright, writing down sleazebag.
So there were
hey green guy, what's your name? I'm writing down
Greedo.
Greedo. So, give me some money. Greedo. There we go.
there were.
I mean, green is the color of envy.
That's true.
There were 3 moments in this movie that made me audibly groan. One was in the very opening, where they were doing their so basically Disney realized
the expository bullshit.
So Disney realized that nerds are never happy, and enough people pitched a fit about Rogue One not having a crawl at the opening. They were like, all right, we still don't... They want to reserve...
I thought Rogue One crawled.
Jesus, Jay.
I like Rogue One.
It is only loud today.
But... So it didn't have an opening...
We got several episodes to do. He'll tire out eventually.
It didn't have an opening text crawl, and a bunch of nerds are still upset about it because they don't have lives.
I like that there wasn't a text
Right,
crawl.
well, they want to reserve the text crawls for the episodes. So, they're like, all right, all the fans fucking got hate boners over the lack of a crawl. We still don't have a crawl in this one. So they just had some text pop up. Mm-hmm. And they actually, unironically, used the term, the mean streets, which that was big groan number 1.
It's Van Halen.
It was fucking stupid. But before I go on, you wanted to say something, Caitlin?
2 things. 1, these are lawless times, but people are criminals. How can you have criminals if there's no law?
Yeah,
I actually turned to Jake and said that, and he wasn't impressed. The other thing was, I liked how they had certain important words in caps.
Well, they've always done that.
If you're a fucking idiot. I've never noticed it before.
Oh, yeah, go back. All the original, Death Star was always in all caps.
Well, yeah, but that's a proper noun.
But still, they've done that before.
These weren't proper nouns.
What was that word?
Well, Lady Proxima, that was all caps.
Lady Sovereign!
Yeah.
Lady
I also
Proxima.
hated how in the pseudo crawl text they lift it up in a way that says, oh, but there's one rebel who looks to the skies. I'm like, fuck you,
whoever wrote that text should be fired out of a rocket into the sun.
And hired by Hallmark instead.
So that was Audible Groan number 1.
They do a good job with Hallmark.
Audible Groan number 2 was, it turns out, John Williams' Imperial March isn't just music for the audience.
Yeah.
Based on that fucking recruitment ad Han sees, it's just the Imperial Anthem.
Yeah, it's propaganda.
Fuck you, movie. Fuck you, movie.
It was slightly different. It was
slightly, but it was stupid.
Okay,
I hated it.
But it was do.
Still,
it was very
same, they sped it up. It was in a higher key. But
I know, but I kind of like that.
I didn't. I thought it was just dumb.
I thought it was kind of neat.
Making it part of the Star Wars world as opposed to part of the movie, I think, is stupid. It feels a bit fourth wall,
disingenuous at best.
There we go.
Also, it wouldn't be played. It would be played on those fucking.
Yeah, jizz whaler instruments.
Oh my god, speaking of music, the fucking singer and the blobfish.
Krang. Was that Krang from
It looked like Krang's. Yeah,
Krang. That's what it was.
It did look like Krang. But it was like a fucking... I don't even know what it was. It was... What are those really ugly fish? You know the fish
Blobfish?
Yes, it was like a fucking...
A baby fucking wheel!
It was a baby fucking wheel!
Blobfish, aside from the goo coming out of the mouth, are weirdly cute. And yes, Audible note...
Blobfish, no.
Audible...
They look like babies. Babies are not cute.
Audible Groan number 3 was, yes, Han apparently didn't have a surname, so
I'm just alone, I don't have a family.
Yeah, so some Imperial guy just makes up Solo for him, and it's like, it would have been better if it was... yes, it's a little silly that his surname is Solo, it's a little on the nose, but that is, again, because George Lucas is a bad writer. Keep in mind, Luke's name was almost Luke Starkiller. So, I mean,
Isn't that what the weapon in the Star...
Yeah, the Death Star.
So. No, the other...
Starkiller Base.
Star
Yeah, that was a nod to that stupid idea.
That was bad writing that was nod to other bad writing, yeah?
But to just double down on his name is dumb. Let's make it also have a dumb origin.
Yeah.
Well, the other thing, too, is like...
It could have been Han Uno.
It's the antithesis of his character, though, because he's always got people with him. Like, he's never a solo.
Yeah.
It's always a duet.
Yeah, but he likes to think he is, right? He likes to think he's a badass loner when we know he's the real good guy.
Oh, that fucking scene.
Also, that shower scene with Chewie.
That was hysterical.
I know, I wish you had called that.
Now we know the truth.
They fucking
about that
touched
relationship.
dicks, for
that,
sure.
I'll admit, was really funny. So, yeah.
I didn't hate it.
I feel
I
like
gotta
me
say,
and Jake
I liked
have been
it.
doing a lot of talking. What are you two
I liked
have going
it.
on?
Yeah, what did you like, Caitlin?
No, I found it okay. I feel like I sort of like it the way I like Star Trek V, which is I don't necessarily think it was like a really good movie, but I
it's
was
watchable?
Entertained. Like I was entertained.
Yeah, I was telling
there were moments.
Jake. What?
Are you not entertained?
Fuck you, Jake.
Queer giraffes. I know what it's from.
No, after the movie, like, Jake's like, oh, it was terrible. It's like, and I tell him, like, it's a summer blockbuster. This is what the films of summer blockbusters are supposed to be like. It's just action, 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 occasional other scene, more action, lots of special effects. This movie cost over $250 million.
Wow.
And is one of the most expensive movies ever made.
That was a mistake.
In the top 10.
Wow.
You know what number 1 is? Pirates of the Caribbean on Stranger Tides.
Never saw it.
Is that the fourth one?
I have no idea what one it is. That one cost $375.8 million.
Jesus fuck. And they were horrible. The first one was great, but everything after the first one was like...
Was just making money.
On his face?
That Davy Jones?
No, that was the second and third
That's
one.
the monkeys.
What?
Davy
Monkeys?
Jones.
One of the monkeys.
Jesus.
Good one.
Fucking Christ.
Good one. I didn't get it. That was good. No, but
Brino. His name is Brino.
But Davy Jones had the weird...
Yeah, but he was in 2 and 3, not the first one.
I know, but he asked...
I said which was the one that the worm
I thought you said
Jake
that was
asked
the one
that so
had...
he could make a monkeys joke. Because he's a terrible
Is that
man.
why you asked?
No, that's not why I asked. I couldn't remember the character's name.
No, but anyway, getting back to Star Wars. I was almost said
Star Trek.
because that's what we do. When we don't talk about Star Trek, we talk about Star Wars. When we don't talk about Star Wars, we somehow talk about everything else.
Well,
speaking
it's
of
a
everything
Disney
else,
franchise, at least.
Yeah, speaking of everything else, like this movie, there's a reason why it cost this much, and other movies that cost this much are all the fucking Marvel films that cost 200 something million and up movies because it's just a fucking gigantic action adventure summer blockbuster. So that's what you have to kind of expect.
What did they spend all that money on?
Oh,
I mean, not the writers.
I mean, Rio was all CG, so he was probably expensive.
Yeah, L3.
That, and also
oh man,
Reshoots.
Can we just
Reshoots?
I have a thing actually.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I have
what's
a
your
thing. I have a prediction for the next film.
Oh, Rio comes back.
The next, and when I say that, no. I wish. When I say a prediction for the next film, I liked Rio. I know he's not coming back, but I loved it.
I thought he was the rocket raccoon of this movie.
I know, but I love Rocket Raccoon. I'm fine with that. Wait, listen. The next non-episode film.
Anthology movie.
Yes, thank you. In Rogue One, we had K2. In this film, we have L3. Next film, we get M4.
M4,
yes,
the computer that blows up fucking
it's gonna be
starships.
M44 L, and I'm not even kidding. I mean, I'm sort of kidding, right? Because I'm hoping it's just a coincidence. But if we get an M4 in the next fucking movie, I just want everyone to know and be here for this that I fucking called it.
Yeah.
So do you think? So speaking of, since we're on the robots, so
Robot.
K2, no,
L3.
L337.
Sounds like a combination on an idiot's luggage.
So L3 dies, but then they put her brain into the Falcon. Do you think this is why when
Lando wants to fuck the Falcon? Yes.
No, why when
Empire?
Yeah, in the gold one, 3PO is plugged into, and he's like, your ship speaks a very weird dialect. Do you think it's because the Falcon's like, fucking right, bitch! You're a slave!
Yeah, I assume that. But yes, I thought that the idea was to explain away why the computer was so weird.
Why the Falcon
that's an okay nudge. I like
temperamental ship.
I love that. I loved L3. L3 was one of my favorite parts of this fucking whole thing. She liberates everybody. What do you mean, what are you supposed to do? Go liberate your brothers!
Hey, Han, can you take us to Alderaan? Sorry, the ship's on the rag.
Jesus.
Oh, speaking of on the rag,
What?
Yes. No, I noticed that the working title of this movie was Star Wars Red Cup, which I wrote down, sounds like a feminine hygiene.
Yeah, it sounds like a Diva Cup.
Oh
It
my.
sounds like a brand of Diva Cup, yeah.
Red Cup.
Red Cup.
Solo cups.
No!
Stop!
No!
I could not love that explanation more.
I mean, that's obviously... That was probably like a code name for the film.
That would be great. That would make sense.
Love it.
Wasn't
Also-
the
Oh
code
my
name
God.
for...
Jedi was Blue Harvest.
Yeah, famously.
So it's
Blue
sort of a
Harvest.
double. It's both sort of
Blue
a nod
Harvest?
to Blue Harvest. That was the.
When they're filming like big blockbuster movies, they'll come up with fake names that they'll put on call sheets and stuff.
Although
so that,
Jedi might have been one of the first ones to do that.
maybe really just so like if some some local buddy can't be like, hey, they're filming Star Wars over here. Let's fly over in a giant helicopter.
But yeah, Blue Harvest. Blue Harvest was a reference. So we keep switching colors around. Blue Harvest was a reference to a Dashiell Hammett novel called Red Harvest, which would eventually get adapted unofficially into the Akira Kurosawa film Yojimbo. And
We're not here to talk about Akira Kurosawa and Yojimbo.
Lucas was a big Akira Kurosawa fan. So Red Cup is a double reference, I think, both to the whole Blue Harvest, Red Harvest thing, and yes, solo cups.
Also, in the novelization
And
of the
Diva
original
Cup.
Star Wars,
Administration.
Luke Skywalker was on the Blue Squadron. I bet you didn't know that one.
I did not. Is it
I
true?
have the novelization. I've read it. It's blue leader.
In fact, I think that the nod to the feminine hygiene product it's that Han with Kira earned his red wings.
Thank you, Kate.
Speaking
You're welcome, Ames.
of women.
The women!
I feel like women kind of got the short shrift of this
Oh
film.
my god.
wait.
They were kind of upset.
Woman.
Better or worse than the fucking black people living on desert planet with their tongues all cut out.
Yeah, that's pretty
We
bad
finally
too.
found the black people in the fucking galaxy. They can't talk, and they're on the
And
desert.
they're one giant
Newton-
social commentary
Thad Newton was in
PSA.
this film. She did get blown up in the first 20 minutes.
So that's the thing,
but-
yeah, all the women in this, all the sort of major women in this film, they were either fridged, like Thandi Newton and L337, or they were actually just devious bitches,
Giant
like
cunts.
Kira. Yeah,
L337's
Yeah.
name is Leet.
it is. I hate
Oh, I
it.
didn't even... Really?
And I didn't want to say it out loud, but you noticed. Yeah.
That's funny.
Her
Yikes.
name is Leet. It's
Yikes.
terrible and I hate it.
Yeah.
I love it! This
I love
movie
her.
just keeps getting better!
But yeah, like, the three sort of major female characters just fall into tired old tropes of,
Where's Maz? Where's Maz Kanata? She's
Right.
great. Bring her in.
but yeah, getting killed so
She'll
the
be in the
heroes feel like they have something to
Could
do.
be.
Or again, they're actually just devious like Kira.
All right, let's talk about Kira.
Wait,
Well,
but
Lady
Kira's
Sovereign.
a bad bitch. Also,
Mm.
Kira plays the Game of Thrones because she knows
Yeah.
you either win or you die.
Whenever she,
I love that.
Whenever she talked about her boss man Dryden, I thought she was saying dragons because it's Daenerys Targaryen and she's only talking about dragons.
She's
Yeah.
the queen of
Oh,
Dryden's.
speaking
No.
of which, I remember there was here was a reference when she does kung fu on some guy.
Oh god, I forgot about that.
And
That
the robot,
pissed me off.
The robot's like, "Oh, you know kung fu," and she's like, "No, it's Terrace Kasi," which,
Ugh.
if for the eagle-eyed nerd who played video games in the late '90s. Terrace Kasi was a terrible Street Fighter Star Wars knockoff game.
PlayStation 1.
PlayStation 1.
It was awful.
It was terrible. It was
So bad.
it was a fighting game like Street Fighter, Mortal Kombat,
But
it was
bad.
Star Wars, and like they made up this fake martial art
Yep.
called Terrace Kasi,
Ah.
and that was the name. The name of the game was what? Masters
of
Terrace Kasi.
Yeah, no, I couldn't believe.
That's canon now.
Yeah,
that
was-
game
that
is
was-
canon.
That was Audible Grow number 4.
I forgot about that one.
because
yeah.
you were like, oh, what the fuck? And I'm like, what? He's like, I'll tell you later. I'll tell you later. I was like, okay.
Well, because it was too long of a story to tell during the movie.
So that Terrace Kasi, that game's canon now. Luke Skywalker gonna fight. I don't even remember any other characters.
They made up some original character that no one cared about, and then it was, Han, Boba, Vader, Leia, everyone
I
you
was gonna say, do you get to fight Leia? You get to Terrace
Oh,
Kazi her around.
Tear your arms
the
off.
young
Whoa.
girl that kind of Maya Rudolph, kind of freckled.
The Marauder
and
chief.
Fist Nest.
Yeah. So okay,
She was the leader of the Cloud Riders.
Thought on her. Do you think that they were setting? Do you think in the original draft of the script, or maybe even with the previous before the
that she was related to Mal or Val or whatever her name is?
Well, no, that she was going to be Woody Harrelson and Thaddy Newton's daughter.
Yes, because they had a really significant look at each other.
Yeah, and
that was going to mean something.
She's clearly mixed race, and it would make
and
total
Freckly,
sense.
and what's her name was Freckly?
Thandie Newton.
Yeah,
what's her name?
Thandie Newton.
Thandie?
Mm-hmm.
That's a weird.
It's short. It's short. It's short.
Where is it? Do you have it written down? Thandie.
Newton. I think her given name is Melinda or something, but she goes by Thandie.
Thandie is a great name.
It is.
I thought it was Thaddy. Shit.
But yeah, the way they have, the way they look at each other.
You
is
thought
very...
Greedo's name was Greeno.
That's true.
You are having problems here.
Like,
they're always switching themes.
N and D's. They're really.
Yeah. But yeah, I was waiting for him to go like, oh, is Dad. And it's when they realized, even for this film, that was just too fucking cliche.
So were they trying to make...
They'll do it
Is
in the
she
sequel.
supposed to be somebody's significant's daughter?
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay, because I thought she was like, oh, my mother's. And
Now, for all I know,
they
there's
made
some
that part up.
comic or something.
She mentioned her mom. She was talking about her mom.
Okay, so her mom is somebody, just not somebody we know.
No,
Right,
it
like I
still
said,
could have been.
Well, again, it could also be something from either Rebels or a comic or...
Yeah.
Because I know they've been peppering Rebels references into the movies.
For Nerdwank?
Yeah,
for
there
the
were
kids,
a couple in Rogue
probably.
One and things like that. So she could be
but
somebody.
She's a female character
And she's a bad
of color
bitch.
in this film.
Yeah, she does okay.
Yeah.
for herself.
She starts a revolution,
We just don't know until the very end.
A revolution.
Basically.
I thought it was really great that it was a woman under the mask, though, because it had that Kylo Ren mask shit going on. Then she takes it off, and you're just like, what? And you're cute to boot. Fantastic.
It's sort of an original Metroid moment.
They started jumping out and being like, let me talk to you about social commentary, everyone. Let me give you this backstory. And I was like, oh, good.
It's a little heavy-handed. Yeah.
Right, thank you.
I liked it.
Yeah, it was, yeah, I felt like I was getting beaten with a stick. With that stick that Chewie had, maybe.
A lot of sticks in there. Everyone was fighting with sticks in this movie.
Sticks.
Star Wars...
It was a galaxy far, far away.
Star Wars, despite being a world of lasers, loves melee combat.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you know why? Because it's probably cheaper to do than all that fucking blaster shits and lightsaber shits.
You got fancy choreography.
You got a mind to
but when you have a when you have a lightsaber, you've got the fancy choreography, and you have to go in and hand whatever the lightsaber thing. Yeah, and you've got to edit out fucking Ewan McGregor going.
Did he?
During the filming of episode 1.
Aww.
So he made lightsaber noises.
You didn't know that?
He was making lightsaber noises. They didn't catch it.
Is there footage of this?
They didn't.
I have to see
I don't know if it's ever been made public, but so they didn't notice while they were filming. It was only later they went in, they were doing the editing, and they're like, what's that? McGregor's making lightsaber noises. And they
Can you blame him? I would.
Out.
If you had one of these fucking...
So apparently with episode 2...
They told
him
gagged him.
Shut the fuck up.
So Hayden Christensen starts doing it. And McGregor goes, oh, they apparently have people for that.
Why does he sound like Scotty?
Because he's Scottish.
Why does he sound like Scrooge McDuck?
Because I can't do a Scottish accent well.
Alright, well, I'm glad we got both of those things cleared up.
Yeah.
Life is like a hurricane.
No, we've done this. We've done this before.
Tatooine. Oh, that's good. I like that. I like yours better.
Good for all of you.
It's all good.
What do you want to talk about, Chris?
No, all I was going to say is, by the way, just to clarify, despite all my bitching, overall,
overalls? I have so many notes left.
No, I know. We're still going to talk about it, but I just wanted to clarify because I realized I've been mostly moaning. Once the big 3 groans were out of the way, and then the 4th groan later, overall I actually did find it entertaining enough. I went in with very low expectations. Like, you know what? It was harmless fun. I thought it was going to be
terrible.
So bad.
It's as I said, it's a summer blockbuster. There's not a fucking point to it except to show off their special effects.
Oh my god, we haven't even got to Danny Glover.
Donald Glover.
You're making me do it now, you son of a bitch. No. You know why? Because Danny also sounds like a younger name. And you feel like, I don't know anyone named Donald.
Donald Duck.
Yeah, he's
old. Very old. Yeah, no,
if he went by Don and you put his name down, you would say Don Lover.
Actually, that's his Twitter handle.
Yeah. And he noticed one day and realized, oh, this is what my name is. And it was kind of cute.
No, he just stuck with it anyway.
That's fun.
Anyway, there's another podcast I was listening to that was talking about movies and stuff and how movies are generally made. And looking at some of the old Star Trek movies being like, you know, like the motion picture and Wrath of Khan and stuff, they're not movies that you make specifically knowing, like, this is what my video game version of the movie's gonna look like. This one has the fucking video game practically built in. Because every single, like, chapter of the movie, you can see, like, this is what the video game part of this movie would be.
Oh, they got the train.
They got the train chase. They got the car chase on fucking, what's it called?
Corellia.
That
was funny, too. I like that the sliding through the crevice thing didn't work, because, like, that happens in the later films.
In Empire, he does a...
Yeah, which is awesome. I like that. And I'm
Lando
really glad...
do that in the Death Star, too?
Possibly?
Like, isn't that how he breaks the satellite dish off?
I think
stole
so.
it like...
that was close.
Stole it from Han.
The suggestion...
The co-pilot?
Yeah. Celestin. What's his name?
Nine Nub?
Yeah, Nine Nub or Nine
Oh, the one with, like, the sort of monkey robo face.
He's a Celestin.
He's always giggling.
Why does he sound like you masturbating?
That's just what he does.
Why do I know?
Because he's masturbating.
Why do I know what Jake sounds like when he's masturbating?
He's in...
Did you just roll your eyes?
Episode 7.
Did you roll your eyes at me?
No, both of you. Don't worry. Yes.
Mostly Jake.
Numbnuts is in episode 7.
He's a Corellian, apparently.
No, Celestin.
Oh.
And it's the same guy in the suit.
Oh, is it?
Oh, was this Chewie, the normal actor?
No, this is the new one.
Because did that guy die, or is he
he
has
just
like
unwell.
joint problems and shit?
Yeah.
He's
Well,
just
because
getting old
he's
and
18
sick.
feet tall.
And he's probably like
100.
pretty old by now.
Probably 70, actually,
Probably.
because we were just talking about... No, we were talking about Q. Maybe he's even older than 70.
He might be.
Depending on how old he was in the original Star Wars.
Yeah.
I mean, Chewie's 190.
We also need to mention
Looks kinda
that,
good.
true to form, we do have a Star Trek connection here. Cameo appearance by our favorite Star Trek guest star,
Woody
Clint.
Harrelson. Oh.
Clint Howard.
Yep.
Naturally. A film directed by his brother, but...
Yep.
So we have Clint. I saw we had Warwick Davis as well.
Yep.
As one of the rebels.
Yeah,
That was
brought
exciting.
back from whatever other Star Wars he was
Ewok.
in.
He was the
He was an
Ewok.
Ewok. Well, wasn't he also...
He was also another thing.
I think he was...
In Rogue One, I think?
Oh, I thought he was...
He's playing Gonk Droid.
I thought he was I thought he was a
Thank you.
Jawa too. Maybe not.
Oh, maybe. All right, wait. I'm gonna look it
If
up.
it was,
I know it's the character also that's returned.
Houdini!
Thank you, Jake.
Yeah. No.
That's pretty
Oh
good.
no. You know what is? He was in a suit as one of the aliens in Canto Bight,
What's that?
Gesundheit.
the casino.
Oh, is he the thing
Last
that
Jedi?
fucks BB-8?
I think so.
Cool. Wait, no, that was a CG
That's Mark
thing.
Hamill.
That was a CG.
Oh yeah. No, he's somewhere in Canto Bight. But yeah, you're right. He's not because that was all CG monster that Mark Hamill did the voice of. If Warwick Davis was in
He's been in Rebels.
Yeah, if he was ever a Jawa, it would have been later because his first Star Wars appearance was Return of the Jedi.
No.
So
As
he
one of
was.
the
Yeah, because he was
Ewoks.
also like a kid. Right?
Yeah, he was like 12 or 13.
Yeah.
He played a character called Weasel in Solo. He was Rook in Rebels. He was Wodabin in The Last
Wasn't
Jedi.
Rebels a cartoon?
Yeah,
Yeah,
he
he's
was a
probably
voice
voice.
actor.
Oh.
He was Wee Teef QB.
Has he ever had a
in
speaking
Rogue
role
One.
in Star Wars movie?
He spoke in this one,
He
didn't
had,
he?
he had lines in this one, I thought.
Yeah.
He was in.
Yeah, he had like a couple lines. That's true.
He was Wolavan in The Force Awakens.
I think the W names, huh?
Yeah.
Will help.
He also other. I mean, I think
Oh, he was in Harry Potter. Of course, he was the
one of the
head
Gringotts.
Gringotts
Yeah.
dude.
All right, let's talk about this movie some more.
Yeah.
I know we started and then immediately diverted from talking about the women.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, it's of course what I said in my piece. I feel like they mostly got fucked over.
They got fucked over. Like also like let's dig into Kira.
Is the implication that she's like a sex slave?
It sounds like she
That's
may
the-
have been at some
yeah.
point.
Like, and here's the thing: like, I don't get her arc at all. Like, she starts off as this slave on Corellia with Han, where they're like lovey, smoochy, smoochy. In the 3 years that he's been off fighting wars, getting thrown out of the army, and hooking up with bandits such as Woody Harrelson, playing Woody Harrelson, which Caitlin laughed at because it's in my notes.
I did. I love it. He was in episode 1,
She's-
guys.
Warwick Davis.
Yeah. He played Wald, again with a W name. Maybe because his name is Warwick?
They just like giving him W names.
Wald
But yeah, so
Patterson.
in this time, she has somehow come under the power of Dryden Voss, become his best lieutenant, and is also trustworthy enough, despite being possibly his sex slave or something, that he'll send her off on a really, really dangerous mission to make sure that her ex-boyfriend doesn't do it wrong.
I was thinking, the way.
Also,
Darth
I was
Maul-
so distracted that it was Emilia Clarke. Like, every second I was distracted.
I didn't realize it was her until...
She's not a great actor, and she can't really escape into a part, so it's hard to see anyone but her just talking.
But she's very pretty.
I
didn't realize it was her until the second time we met her. When she was being a strum rat, or whatever the fuck they called them, I was like, oh, she's nice.
I assumed it was an excuse to put her in lots of pretty costumes, because she did get lots of pretty costumes.
She did. Whoever costumed this film was fucking amazing.
I loved Donald Glover's fucking closet of capes.
Oh, that was too much. That was like, hey fans, I know you're expecting capes. Here's as many capes as we can show you, and also we're going to make 10 jokes about capes.
Fans, we heard you like capes.
When it comes out, doesn't have a special feature that is just a careful look at every single cape.
With Donald Glover wearing each one. That would be good.
Yeah, if that's not on there, I will be livid.
I think they should just release a video game that is just playing dress up with Lando.
Ooh, I bet it's on the Google Play Store. What I was gonna say is I don't watch Game of Thrones, so I didn't have that whole "it's just Daenerys in a wig" problem. Like I think it's just the fact
she's naturally brunette.
Daenerys is Daenerys in a wig.
So then Daenerys without a wig. And I actually don't know if I've ever seen anything else she's in, so I didn't have that issue.
I don't think she's in anything else except for like one other movie that's come out between now and Game of Thrones.
Yeah, she was in one of the many attempts to revive the Please Just Let It Die Already Terminator franchise.
Oh, yeah.
Genesis spelled wrong.
I mean, yeah. But yeah, the fact remains, like, she doesn't really act. She just kind of speaks.
I was very, very surprised because I looked at some of the other women that they had in consideration for this role. They had the girl who plays Charlotte Hale on Westworld, Tessa Thompson.
She's very good.
They had Naomi Scott, who's going to be playing the new Jasmine in the live Aladdin. They had Jessica Henwick, who plays Nymeria Sands on Game of Thrones, because they have a Game of Thrones wank list.
Who?
Nymeria Sands.
Which one is she?
She's one of the Sand sisters.
Oh, yeah, okay. I never got that far. I stopped.
I forget which one. They blur together.
Oh, man.
One of those... Is she the one with the boobs?
There's a scene where she whips them out, and they are exceptional. Exceptional.
They are. That's true. And I look at this list, and honestly, Emilia Clarke is the only white woman on this list, which is a little odd.
Awkward.
Figured. We have the rebel girl. She's clearly ethnic. We have Sandy Newton. We can't.
Newton is great, though.
Oh, the whites will freak out. We got them whites in there.
And let's not forget the fact that before the reshoots, Dryden Voss was played by a completely different actor.
Yeah. Actually, Dryden Voss
was also not white originally.
Down. Where's his fucking name?
Thank God we got some pasty English people in there because
Dryden,
frankly, I'm a little
Ron.
I'm a little uncomfortable thinking about all those,
as I said,
not whites.
He was originally played by a different actor.
Yeah, he was going to be played by Michael K. Williams from The Wire and Boardwalk.
But he couldn't do the reshoots.
He's really good. Yeah,
he's really good. Oh man,
yeah,
that's raw. And he's got a cool scar.
No, he would have been a CG creature that looked like a half mountain lion, half human CG creature.
Well, fuck that.
We got that thing. That was one of the private bodyguard people.
One of his soldiers.
One of Voss's soldiers.
That's why he looked like that, because originally Voss was going to be one of them.
Because he's a great actor.
He's a fan.
But yes, that was what we had.
He looks like he plays a gangster really well.
So basically,
Paul Bettany?
Basically,
Paul Bettany does nothing but like action films.
When they had a black actor,
no, dude, he was in Wimbledon.
I don't know.
And he was charming. It was a chick flick wherein he played the romantic lead alongside fucking Mary Jane Bad Teeth, Kirsten Dunst.
She has bad teeth?
I think she does.
I never noticed.
You ever seen that snaggly?
You're not looking at her teeth, honey.
You're very damning at people's teeth.
What were you looking at? Because I don't really. She got good tats.
No, I don't know. She's got nice. She's nice
as
face.
She got snaggle
She's
tooth.
got clear skin. I don't know.
But so basically,
Sorry,
the lesson
Dunst, but you do.
the lesson here is when it was going to be a black guy, he was going to be hidden behind a CG suit. But as a white guy, he just gets to be there being a white guy.
Well, he glowed red when he got angry.
True. Yes, that was.
I didn't notice the glowing red.
Well, it wasn't glow. Like
his scars would get intense.
It turned red.
Really, I didn't know.
And he'd also get his eyes would get more bloodshot.
Yes, I did notice that.
It was kind of a subtle effect.
It was.
It was worthwhile.
I may not.
Some visual effects artists earn their pay.
I may not have noticed it if not for the fact that one of the only things I saw about this film going in was a few days before seeing it, an article where they were talking about the fact that he's not supposed to be human, and he has those weird light up scars.
Dryden Voss.
Yeah.
Okay.
Was he part clownfish?
Well, that's whatever his species is. They just have those weird stripedy faces.
He's like Reno. He turns different colors when he's...
It's like,
I mean, really, I think the lesson you learn
He's an
is
adolescent.
when you switch your fucking director over and you need like 70% of the movie reshot, you'll lose your good actor.
I mean, nothing against Paul Bettany.
No, Paul Bettany's a good actor. It's just that
Yeah, but
it's unfortunate
Michael K.
that
Williams, though?
I have no idea who
I've
that
never
is.
seen anything he's in.
He's really
Oh,
good. He's really
so-
he, like,
But-
and he plays the character of like a gangster very, very well.
Well, and it's sad again that we lost a potential actor of color.
Well,
in this.
not that we would have known, because he would have been a CG monster.
But I mean, it's still.
I was surprised that Phoebe Waller-Bridge, the voice of L337, is a white chick because she had this cadence to her voice, and I just assumed she was a black
You
chick.
thought it sounded like
Brienne of Tarth.
What's that actor's name? The woman that played
Gwendolyn Christie?
Phasma.
Gwendolyn Christie.
That's it.
Yeah, and I thought the
It did
voice
kinda
sounded
sound
very
like
similar
her.
too.
Oh, I didn't even think
It
of
sounded
that.
a lot like her, and I was like, oh, maybe this is them apologizing for making Phasma such a fucking blip in the prequels or sequels.
Yeah.
Because Phasma is dead now, right?
I mean, she
Presumably.
blew up on that.
Darth Maul is
I was
alive.
gonna say
That's
Darth Maul
true.
was also dead.
All
that's
bets are
true.
off.
So basically, Woody Harrelson's wife could come back too at some point.
Maybe.
No, I don't really think so. But
She's exploded.
Yeah.
I liked her though.
turned
She was really,
inside
really
out.
good.
Then exploded. I loved our new friends. I even loved Woody Harrelson. I knew he was gonna fuck us over, but I loved him. I loved.
I
all
don't
our
know.
new
I got
friends.
he's so Woody Harrelson. Like I've seen.
I gotta be honest.
This is the exact character he played in Zombieland. This is the exact character he's played in whatever else.
But I like him. I like him in that, like...
Yeah, but
Woody Harrelson tends to get a little hate now and then, but
Here's the thing.
No,
him in everything he's in.
I really
But
like
this
Woody
isn't-
Harrelson. I don't think he should have been in this movie because I think they should have given someone else a chance to be in this fucking movie.
Here's the thing. I don't actually think that that's Woody Harrelson playing Woody Harrelson. I think that's Woody Harrelson playing the only character he can play. Because, no, really, because Woody Harrelson is like a vegan and shit. I don't think the real Woody Harrelson...
Well, yeah. But I get what you're saying. He's playing the character that Woody Harrelson plays.
You think vegans
In
can't be
every
like
movie.
badass killers?
Yeah, no, I
I mean,
don't.
he's a natural born killer.
Oh, yeah.
I've never seen it, but I
he
didn't,
was
and
in
I
that
didn't. I
movie.
didn't realize. Well, he's
Born Identity?
he's also a natural born bartender because he were
Yeah,
in
that's
Cheers.
true. With Kirstie Alley.
Star Trek.
And then there was
Kirstie
Rio.
Alley McBeal.
Rio was fun. I liked
Yeah.
Rio too.
Well, you know, I gotta be
loved
honest.
Rio.
I
He
He was
gotta
for the
feel.
kids. He
I
was
get-
just for the kids.
and I
Oh,
also
they'll make
feel like
stuffed animals
this.
out of him
Here's
then.
my thought. Like, this movie was a series of
Unfortunate events.
of like action sequences that are just sort of like
Tied together.
just like smashed together.
So it was like a porn feature film.
And like yeah, and like they tried to make me give a shit about Rio by being like, when I'm done with this job, I'm gonna go open up a canteen.
He was
And
a
I'm-
week away from
Oh,
retirement.
yeah, I'm getting too old for this shit. And then, so they tried to make me care about him, but he was only in the movie for, a total of 10 minutes of screen time maybe for that character?
yeah, I would have liked
If
more
that.
of him.
And I'm just like, I mean, if you're going to kill off a character that you want me to care about, let him last a little longer,
Yeah, like everyone in Rogue One.
And the other thing, too, is like, you already had the sacrifice on that first mission with Thandie Newton's character.
Yeah.
Who like, even though we don't really care about that character,
I care about
in
that
the same.
I
in the-
cared about all the characters.
Well, I mean,
I don't know what you're talking about.
I mean, we weren't invested. Like I was.
Well, I felt
you're
like they
wrong.
did. I felt like they did a really good job of making me give a shit about these characters really quickly. Like I loved Rio because he was like kind of goofy and fun and cute, and there seemed like there was more to him. He was the one that was like, let's give Han a chance. Like I liked him, and then I loved what's her name, Val. Because, she was kind of sassy, and she was like, oh, don't do that. She reminded me of, what's her name from Firefly a little bit.
Oh yeah, Zoe.
Well,
And then I thought her name was Mal, so then I thought maybe...
I also thought her name was
So then
Mal.
I thought maybe they were intentionally making a callback to
Firefly,
Mal being Nathan Fillion's character, but Val, close enough.
I will say, you'll probably, if you really want, get a whole pile of comics and or books about these three people and their exploits before this film.
I don't want those. I just
As we do know, Woody Harrelson killed Aura Singh.
I don't know what
Who's
that
that?
is.
Aura Singh
A
Is a
gangster,
character from one of the
of
books?
some
no,
kind, right?
is
Because-
seen briefly in episode 1. She's a weird pale woman with red hair. And the plan was that she was going to be super important in either episodes 2 and 3, or just episode 2 or... She was like this quick little cameo, but she stood out. She had a very distinct look. And in interviews at the time, Lucas was like, oh yeah, she's gonna show up, she's gonna be really important. But then he decided to not use her. So she ends up popping up here and there in the cartoons. And now we know that apparently at some point she was just killed off screen by Woody Harrelson.
So she's the Captain Phasma of the prequels. She shows up
She
briefly, is promoted as being important.
No,
and
she
is not.
She had even less presence than Phasma.
Oh, really?
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
like
Phasma
she's
had
literally
presence still.
Yeah, she was literally in a like blink and
Like
you
I
miss
don't
it.
remember who this person even is.
Yeah,
so
she
that's
has
the effect she left.
Yeah, blink and you miss it cameo in episode 1. I don't think she says anything. You just see her.
You know what? I bet you she's an opera. I bet you she does the opera. Because someone was like, hey, what's your name? Aura. What's your last name? She's like, I don't know. And they're like, oh, you're Aura Singh. Eh?
But yeah, so she ended up having much more presence in the cartoons. And again, just murdered off screen.
Oh, she's hideous.
By Woody Harrelson.
The fuck? She's like
Uncle Fester's girlfriend.
She's like Uncle Fester cosplaying Harley Quinn.
That's perfect.
That's terrible. I don't remember seeing her in any movie.
I think it's during the pod
because you
race.
repressed it. She's horrifying.
Oh.
Oofda.
Oh boy.
But yeah. So yeah, murdered off screen by Woody Harrelson.
Oh, that's a shame.
All right, I'm gonna switch tracks into one of the bigger discussions.
Yes.
What did everyone think of Alden Ehrenreich, our new Han Solo?
You know,
I'm sure he's a nice young man.
At the beginning, I really was not impressed because I felt like he was doing like a really bad Jack Nicholson impression that he thought was a great Harrison Ford impression. But at the beginning, it was like, all right, Kira, I'm going to come back for you. I'm going to get you off the plane. Right? You know, it's like, I was just like, that's not very Han Solo-y, right? And then by the end...
Well, he's also young. He's also like 17-year-old Han Solo.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Who's a
That
very
actor
different
was
person.
not 17 years old.
No.
That guy was like...
No, that's true. He's 55. But by the end, he had grown on me, and I don't know if it's because, like, they for some reason shot, like, in sequence, and he just really didn't get into it until he really got into it. I don't know if, like, they saved
Or
the
they were
chew-
trying to show you the origin of Han Solo's.
You think that Jack Nicholson was Han Solo's origin?
Yeah.
So I do know that part of the disaster that was the production of this film did involve not just firing Lord and Miller and replacing them with Ron Howard, but bringing in an acting coach
I read
for
that too.
Ehrenreich.
Oh, really? Ouch.
I didn't think
Was
he
it Jack
that
Nicholson?
bad.
Like, that's the thing. I've not seen anything else he's in. He was supposed to have been quite good in some Coen Brothers film.
Hail Caesar.
Yeah. I mean, I liked him well enough in this. It could just be that he was... Yeah, here's the thing. You can take a really good actor, but with the wrong director, they'll be fucking terrible.
Yeah, and Lord and Miller, like, they were treating this movie like it was going to be a comedy when they first started directing it. And then, you know, fucking everyone else at Lucasfilm is just like, what the fuck are you guys doing?
So they were the ones that put Darth Maul in it. And they were like, we have to keep it. We spent so much fucking money on the makeup.
I gotta say, though, like, shame on them for hiring Lord and Miller and not thinking they were going to think it's a comedy.
Yeah,
Who are Lord and Miller?
they're the guys who do the Lego movies.
And they also did Clone High.
And, like,
What?
Their entire career has been comedy, basically.
Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs.
Did they get fucking what's the fucking
The Farrelly brothers present.
Yeah.
what's the band that does the on a boat motherfucker?
Oh, The Lonely Island.
Yeah, did they get them to do the soundtrack and then be like shocked when it wasn't fucking symphonic, like orchestral? I mean,
just before we get back into this, I wanted to say there's one other thing in my notes that reminds me of. There was one part of the soundtrack, I think it was when they were on the train chase, where it sounded like the music was lifted from It's a Small World ride.
Oh no!
And I was very, very distracted.
I missed that.
How was it?
Weird.
What made it sound
It
like?
just sounded like weirdly ching-chingy.
Oh, it was like
really
music boxy, kind of?
Yeah.
Or
I'll have to listen for that next time I see the scene.
you're gonna go see this movie again?
No, but I'll
I
probably
would
see it when it's on
I
streaming.
would see this movie again.
I would too.
We went and
I
saw
liked
Last
it,
Jedi
so.
again and liked it better too. So.
The Last Jedi.
Back to the kid.
Oh yeah, you saw that
I
twice?
think
Back to the kid.
The only other comparison we really have for somebody doing basically this is River Phoenix in The Last Crusade.
Doing what?
Playing a young Harrison
Indy?
Ford.
And of course, young Indy, but
Wait, who was it? It was River Phoenix.
Phoenix.
Is he the one that died?
Yes.
Yeah.
Famously died.
And his brother.
And his
He's
brother
also a person.
is also a person.
Joaquin, he's in Gladiator.
Yeah.
He
You love
fucks his
Gladiator.
creepy sister.
He sure does.
I mean, no, he creepily fucks his sister. His sister's probably fine.
I think I've only seen River Phoenix in I Love You to Death, which is a great movie.
He was also in Stand By Me,
I didn't-
along with Will Wheaton.
Let's get back to Han Solo.
I really liked River
Alden?
Phoenix.
Oh, River Phoenix.
In the intro to the indie movie. But my God, that scene. Basically, that scene in The Last Crusade is, if you took this entire movie and condensed it into a 15-minute sequence, that's the first 15 minutes of that movie, because they tick every box in that movie, in that sequence with River Phoenix of, oh, how did he get the whip? Check. How did he get the hat? Check. How did he get the scar on his chin? Check.
How did he meet Chewbacca? Check.
Yeah. Why does he hate snakes? Check. Like, everything we know about Indiana Jones happened
to him
in one day. Like, in 1 hour of one day.
Well, again, George Lucas, bad writer.
George Lucas wrote the Indiana Jones films as well?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
I mean, like, with
Did he have
Spielberg,
a huge boner for Harrison Ford, or what?
Yes.
He put him in... Oh, there's a weird connection, right? So, the
Wheaton?
first movie that George Lucas directed Harrison Ford in was American Graffiti, right?
Yep.
Harrison Ford is in American Graffiti?
Yeah.
Yep.
And who was the star of American
Yeah,
Graffiti?
Richard
Ron
Dreyfuss.
Howard. I didn't think
Ron
of that.
Howard.
Oh, yeah. That's
Richard
what I-
Dreyfuss.
Yeah, I don't know why I thought that. Which one's American Graffiti? The one where the guy, like, picks up the girl in the car and... No?
I mean, it is
It's
very
like-
much...
It's
It is
a
about, like,
prequel to
50s car
Happy
culture,
Days.
yeah. It's
like-
50s car culture starring Ron Howard.
Well, that makes sense.
So also the first 15 minutes of this movie.
Somebody was like, "Oh, that movie's great. Let's make a TV show with Ron Howard doing exactly this movie, and we'll get Harrison Ford." And then Harrison Ford's like, "No, I'm in fucking Star Wars now." And they're like, "Okay,
Arthur
Henry Winkler."
Fonzarelli. Yeah, that's the name. Hey!
Good for Henry Winkler.
Oh,
Yeah.
God. So, this is something we both talked about last night, Jake. A possible Back to the Future reference in this movie?
Oh yeah, yeah.
What was it?
He talks about being challenged. The best street racer in Corellia was a guy named Needles. Needles is the guy that challenges Marty to a street race in Back to the Future.
Huh.
That, in Back to the Future 2, his future's fucked up because he accepts the challenge and he gets his hand broken. And then in Back to the Future 3, he decides not to. So, yeah, possibly.
But here's the
very
thing: he
weird.
made him because. So Han Solo in this movie says, "Oh, he was the best street racer until he crashed."
And died.
Needles did not crash.
No, he nearly
He
did.
nearly crashed. He nearly hit that Rolls Royce.
He did.
Marty would have hit the Rolls Royce
Mhm.
if he was dumb enough to do that.
Why is he called Needles?
It was like a
It
nickname.
was Flea.
Why is
It
Dr.
was played by Flea
McCoy?
from
Why is Dr.
Chili
McCoy
Peppers.
called Plum?
Why is who called
I don't
Plum?
want to know.
Dr. McCoy.
Remember, Nancy called him Plum.
Because his balls get real purple right before he ejaculates.
So...
Or if you stick a
Yikes.
finger up his butt.
Oh, okay.
So we have talked a little bit here and there about the music, and I wanted to bring it up again because I'm not super sure how I felt about the music.
I only noticed that one
they
song.
kept bringing
So.
back themes from the original movies, which I thought they brought back the asteroid belt.
So
theme at one
that's
point.
the thing is like I'm all right with a quote here and there. Like one thing Rogue One did was barely acknowledge sort of the history of Star Wars music, which was like seemed kind of a weird choice. This one's almost went a little too far in the other direction because it's like
They're just trying to find their happy balance. They've only done 2 non-episode
I know, but it was like-
anthology films. They gotta. The third one will be
here's-
just right.
But like
But here's why, though. I think I have an explanation for why they felt they should or could reuse that, because Rogue One did not involve... Like,
Yeah.
these were all themes associated with the character of Han Solo.
I guess, yeah. But it was a little like I'm not, like it seemed like every time they started doing something super cool, it's like there was da 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 da. You're like, really? And there wasn't just the asteroid belt. What they had was a twofer of not having to write anything new, because it was like some of the TIE fighter attack music from episode 4 segued into
That's
the
true.
asteroid belt music.
Well, they went to the asteroid belt music when they went into the asteroid belt and fought Cthulhu.
Yes, which...
Oh my god, yeah.
like, why was there a random Cthulhu in the movie?
I
Who's the big Lovecraft fan?
I turned to Chris and went, "It's a Shocktopus."
And
Chris broke in the middle of this movie. Like,
Shocktopus.
if you remember hearing Chris laugh a lot during that scene, it's because I turned and was like,
"Oh, that was good."
Yeah, so there was a Cthulhu who then got, like, sucked into, like, some nether realm.
Well, it had, like, you could see, like, bits of it pulling away until it was, like, a skull getting pulled into, like, whatever that fucking
Cthulhu
maelstrom was.
Fatagan.
It was the Maw.
Yes.
Hole.
Yes.
Maelstrom?
The Maelstrom.
Yeah, why do they keep isn't it Maelstrom?
Maelstrom
No, it was
just a storm.
There was a maelstrom, but inside the maelstrom was the maw.
A maw.
The Maw.
Yeah.
With M-A-W, maw.
Yeah, the mouth.
Yeah, I know what a maw is.
Because it was going to eat them. Also, you know, they did the old, the ship broke down, and you're like, oh boy, and then,
oh wait.
And they totally reused the sound design from when it broke down.
They did, yeah.
Which is also the same sound that the Excelsior made when it broke down.
Yeah.
Excelsior!
Starships sound like mid-40s sedans breaking.
Pac-Man.
I was gonna say,
like
more like they just ran the Ms. Pac-Man
I
dying
think, I always thought
through
that
some
sound.
kind
I always
of-
thought it sounded like an old-timey prop plane starting.
Oh,
up.
yeah, that's
That's what I always thought.
Just,
like.
like...
Like...
Yeah, they just took out the successful
That was
startup.
also really good.
Yeah, like a plane.
These
Somebody
are the
trying
things Jake
to
does with his mouth.
trying to like pull start a plane and then
Pennies?
it not like with the
They don't
with
get
no
it.
gas or something.
Yeah.
I know, but you do.
Yeah, I mean, I think, like I said, I enjoyed it, but the way I described it to Caitlin last night when we were going home was, even at its best, it felt less like an official Star Wars film and more like an insanely well-funded fan movie.
I thought, as I said earlier, like, it's a video game waiting to happen.
See, here's
That
the thing.
is what the movie was.
That's what I was expecting it to be. But that's why I think if it was truly a fan flick, we would have had Greeno, we would have had Boba Fett's, we would have had Luke and Leia cameo.
They gotta save some stuff for the second and third one.
Well, that's the thing. That's true. We should say that this movie
Maz gotta come back.
ends completely trying to set up
Yeah,
a sequel.
more. Yeah. He's gotta meet Jabba.
Now, I had a thought, though, like, so you might be...
A young and slim Jabba.
Now, you might think that, oh, well, this is a setup for a Han Solo trilogy, which, as you mentioned, he's contracted for 2 more films, you said?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So there you go, Han Solo trilogy. But I think perhaps, they're not going to do that, but they're going to make the already announced Obi-Wan and Boba Fett films,
And he'll be in those.
and he'll be at least a minor character in those.
Yeah,
and
that
maybe
makes sense.
they'll make that the 3 Han Solo, Obi-Wan, and Boba
Appearances,
Fett
yeah.
will be like a trilogy, an overarching trilogy about like.
Where does Rogue One not fit anywhere anymore? Rogue One is its own thing?
Rogue One's a standalone, but
It's
this
it's,
is
10
going to be
minutes
this is
before
going to
episode
be
4.
the Darth Maul trilogy.
Huh.
Or they could do the Lando movie we really want and have Han Solo show up in that.
And I really liked Don Glover.
Don Glover.
No, I really like Donald Glover in this film.
Oh, man,
I don't know that I want an entire film.
It would be
of
too many cakes,
that.
but also, like, he fucking loved L3. They loved each other so much.
Yeah, and L3
So it would
was
have to
trying
be
to
a-
pretend that she did.
It would have to be a prequel with the 2 of them just constantly banging.
and they totally banged. Because, like, when Daenerys
Yeah, it
was
works.
like, how does that work? And, oh, it does.
Wink. Cute. When she gets uploaded into the ship, it's like, and then Lando loses the ship to Han. Like, that's an extra, like, heartbreak for him.
You think that's why he was trying extra hard to, like, pick up with Leia a little bit when they first meet?
Like, you like this one, huh? Well,
Oh, yeah. You took my woman, I'll take yours.
I'm making
yeah.
it
And I
pop.
feel like they do have to close since they've already announced movies, I feel like that's what it's going to be.
being
That
good
it's
today.
that it will have to be like. So the Obi-Wan movie is next, right? That's the next.
The
one?
Obi-Wan movie is still just a rumor.
Oh, I thought that was announced.
No, the Boba Fett movie has been announced because for some reason we
Just
need a
remember
Boba
that you
Fett
don't
movie.
like me?
Okay. Well, but here's the thing, right? So, I don't know. There's an interesting character there in Boba Fett, right? He watched his dad get his head chopped off, and now...
He's the only non-clone clone.
But he is a clone.
Yeah, he's a non-clone clone.
He's the one that they didn't give all the special enhancement and shit to.
Well,
I thought they did give him I thought
the only thing that he was a clone, but they didn't give him the stuff that made him age to adulthood faster.
I think he's still like a super soldier. Because, yeah, he is. Except he sucks. Every time he shows up, he gets his ass handed to him.
His best appearance...
He was a child, Jake.
His best appearance was still just Empire Strikes Back.
Where he just stands around.
And he's menacing, you don't know anything about him. He seems like he's probably super cool. Turns out he isn't.
Yeah, in the next movie, he gets warped into the Sarlacc.
He does.
Warped into the Sarlacc. That's great.
He does.
Awesome.
It's great.
But anywho,
yeah, I don't need a fucking Boba Fett movie.
Yeah, but I don't know. But I could see there being interest because I would like to see, since they've gone and done it and had Darth Maul show up as a character in this film. Now my interest is piqued. This is the arc I now want to see. I want to see Darth Maul, who has crawled out of that pit, gotten new legs.
Only with arms, too.
Yeah.
And
Dark
Force.
It's always arm day when you're Darth Maul.
Shit. Well, he could probably force magic his way up, right?
I don't know. Whatever.
You don't know. Come on.
He found a card.
So I want to see the film where his whole purpose in life is to exact revenge on Obi-Wan Kenobi. So to do that, he has to become a rich and powerful gangster, evidently. So he contracts...
Well, is it that he wants revenge on Obi-Wan or revenge on the Emperor for abandoning him?
Well, maybe the Emperor thought he was dead, like everybody else.
I still think that the Emperor was like, "You've disgraced me, GTFO."
Well, I mean, it's true that the Emperor does not really tolerate failure very much. So.
He's not.
Why didn't he just finish the job then? Or does he not? Oh.
Now there are two of them. Oh.
The legs and the head became a different thing.
That's actually
They're like flat ones.
That would be great if, like, they have the Trade Federation guy, and like he's like, I can't believe we're in this Nabooian prison now after trying to blockade the planet. And then they see like Darth Maul crawling across the floor on just his hands, and they're like, oh my god, he's back. And then walking behind him are just his legs, and then he's like, oh my god, now there are two of them.
Who are these two? Are you talking about the guys at the beginning of
Episode 1?
Episode 1.
Who are those guys?
Throughout.
Who are
the Asian stereotypes.
Yeah, I was gonna say horrible Asian.
I know. I'm trying not to do the bad Asian accent they did in the movie.
I will say, I do feel like there may have been a little bit of shade being thrown at Episode 1 in this movie when Kira introduces herself as like the assistant to the vice admiral of the Association of Trade something blah blah. It was some ludicrously overlong trade group title. But I kind of, because at first she said, oh, trade. I was like, oh god, she's gonna claim from the Trade Federation. But then the title just kept going. And I assume they were maybe kind of shitting on the prequels a little, even though Darth Maul then showed up. With, again, quoting music, a little bit of Duel of the Fates played under him.
To be fair,
oh yeah, it's fine music, but god damn it, John Powell, you're a good composer. I've heard your work elsewhere. Have confidence in your own work.
The thing is, like, you want
John
like, the
Powell.
flavor.
But yeah,
you want the flavor in there.
When certain characters have themes, it's a bother not to play that theme.
Yeah, but
I think it's almost more work to work in pieces of the theme and still have it work with everything else that you're writing than to come up with something entirely.
I mean, the other thing though is Duel of the Fates isn't explicitly his theme; it's the theme for that sequence. He actually had his own separate theme.
Well,
and yes, it's not as well known, so who would realize?
Yes.
Well, but what I was going to say, though, is that you said they were throwing shade at the prequels, but then used Darth Maul. The thing is, Darth Maul was never the problem with Episode 1. The problem with Episode 1 was the blatant racism throughout. Hayden Christensen's not in that
he wasn't in that one. That's why.
Haley Joel Osment.
It was still his problem because he was that annoying.
Yeah, well, sorry, Haley Joel. I know Haley Joel's hitting hard times.
I'm sure Jake Lloyd.
No, he was in Future Man.
Is hitting
oh, really?
Times.
Didn't he just get didn't he kind of go the Val Kilmer route and get fat and nobody
he's
cares
still
about him anymore?
Working.
Oh, good for him.
I also think that's what's happening
fat
to Jake
shame this
Lloyd,
kid.
too.
I'm not. But I'm saying The problems were the kid that played whatever the fuck his name is,
Anakin.
Anakin, was a piece of shit. Horrible actor. I know kids are usually not great actors. He was an especially bad actor. Also, the fucking flagrant racism all over the fucking place with Misa called Jar Jar Binks and the fucking, fucking
Asian stereotype.
fucking viceroy douche nozzles. Fucking Watto. No, definitely not a Jewish stereotype, whatever his name was. Like, everything about the fucking midichlorians, like, everything that was wrong with the prequel had nothing to do with Darth Maul. Darth Maul was a bad motherfucker because you got this, what's his name that plays him?
Ray Park.
What's his name?
Ray Park.
So
and
that's
he's like
motherfucker...
like epic at fight choreo.
Yeah,
that's his main thing.
The fight choreo
amazing.
is incredible. The double-ended lightsaber, holy shit, we've never seen anything like this.
The plot isn't bad of episode 1 either.
No, it's just everything around it. Like, the skeleton of
there's
it was fine.
There's some execution issues with
Amidala had a different costume in every different scene.
I would say episode 1...
and it was very misappropriative as well.
It's a little... I'll say this about episode 1. Episode 1 is a little bit boring. There's a lot of, parliamentary shit. My favorite, there was a Simpsons joke at one point where...
Oh, yeah.
Where they're the AT-AT walks in and they're like, hold on, the senator from Naboo has the floor, and he sits down and pulls out a paper. But anyway, so yeah, it's a little boring, and there was a lot of, as you say, some poor choices with regard to ethnic sensitivities, we'll say.
Yeah, that's a good way to say it.
And acting sensitivities.
But I would say, overall, it's way better than the following two.
Oh, well.
Agree.
And it's if it wasn't... I honestly say, if they had cut down the Jar Jar quite a bit, and maybe aged up Anakin a little bit, made him more,
closer to Amidala's age?
Yeah, they made him, like a teenager, but had an actual decent actor playing him, then I think that it would have been I think people would regard that movie better.
Well, and people who are younger than us, who grew up with it just already being a thing, regard them better than we do.
Oh, dog, I want to say
we
this
were young when this came out.
I'm talking people who were 5.
But I was going to say... I'm going to say this about episode 1. I saw that fucking movie in theaters 5 times. At the time, I thought that movie was great.
A lot of people did.
Sorry.
It's got some good elements.
I saw episode 2. Honestly, I saw episode 2.
We've discussed
I remember watching episode 2 and being like, this is so great.
Let's watch all the pan wipes that interspace every fucking scene.
They always,
oh, yeah.
Star Wars has always done the
I've
wipe.
never seen 2.
Did this one do any stupid wipes, or did they finally break free of that?
What is a wipe?
Explain what is a wipe. A scene transition, which is
yeah.
really
It does that cheap PowerPoint effect.
Yes. It's not a star wipe, at least. Those are off.
Yeah, no, I don't.
I don't even think it had the
the next scene shoots in from a corner.
Oh yeah, it didn't do the closing iris at the end.
I wish that would happen.
Which is
that would be great. Yeah, I don't know.
PowerPoint Star Wars.
I liked this movie though. I thought it was entertaining. I liked all our new friends.
Better than
most of them didn't live.
Certainly better than any of the prequels.
I didn't care for Kira, but that's maybe it.
I think.
Well, again, she's just a bad actor.
I thought this movie was. I liked this movie considerably more than I liked The Last Jedi. I'm going to say that. I would put it on par with my opinion of Rogue One, which is...
Oh, no, I like Rogue One a lot better.
It's a wank, and it is what it is.
To me, this one was far wankier than Rogue One.
Yeah.
No way!
I thought it was far wankier. But also, Rogue
I'd
One
have to see
is
Rogue
a
One
lot
again.
of more original stuff.
Was can we put an AT-AT here? Oh, can we have the guy from the canteen show up and say, "What are you going?"
There were some stupid, but because, like you said, this is all about where Han came from. It's
an origin story. That's it.
It automatically more wanky just because it's young Han.
I also think that I was honestly expecting it to be wankier. I was expecting him. I was expecting basically.
Boba Fett to show up, hand Chewie his crossbow.
Yeah, I was expecting the Last Crusade intro in a 2-hour movie, and I didn't quite get that. Nobody handed Han here's your smuggler's vest. You're gonna want to wear this. Here's the stripy pants.
Hey, Brad.
I think he was wearing the vest at the end, but it wasn't as obvious because he's wearing a black shirt underneath instead of the white one.
Oh.
But again, there was no scene of him getting it. He just changed his clothes off screen, which good.
Yeah, like I was expecting
Also,
literally everything we know about Han Solo to have happened in this.
Did
movie.
they show him getting the scar, or did he just have it all of a sudden? Because I feel like in one scene I was like, oh, there's the scar. But I don't remember.
I didn't know. I
Han
didn't
Solo
know
has
that.
a
He
scar?
was in fucking a war.
Well, he's got the scar that Harrison Ford
Yeah,
has
Harrison
on the
Ford
chin.
has a scar on his chin.
Well, yeah, he could have
And they
he
actually-
could have just bumped his face on a coffee table as a kid.
Well, yeah, but
It was a car accident.
No, I'm
in-
talking about Han Solo.
Han, yeah.
Oh yeah, but I don't think I noticed it
Yeah,
at all.
no, he definitely has it in one scene.
Oh.
And I give them credit for not going out of their way. Like I said, there wasn't a, like, giving himself the scar moment like in...
Well, yeah, because he got bloodied up a bit in when he's on the planet getting the unrefined coaxium.
I think it was before
wasn't it?
that, though.
Oh, I don't know. But I mean, he does, doesn't he? He gets a little roughed up.
I think so.
Which is nice, because, like, it's, he's not going to make it out completely unscathed.
Yeah.
There was a lion that was
thing.
about to attack him, and he cracked the whip.
Yeah.
And that's how he got the scar. Oh wait, no, that's how Indiana
That's-
Jones got
yeah,
the
Indiana
scar. Shit.
I've never noticed that Harrison Ford has a scar.
Yeah.
And I'm, like, honestly, like, feeling really silly having never noticed, considering that, like,
How much you
apparently...
stare at his face?
Yeah, well... No, but considering that it was such an important factor of his face that they wrote it into the fucking Indiana Jones movies and gave young Han Solo a face scar, I have never noticed. I'm also not very...
It's not like a
observant.
defining feature, but
Whatever.
it's something I don't know. I've noticed it.
He certainly... He was worried that it would hurt his chances as an actor. Because it's,
Don't worry, babe. You sit on that face, you don't even notice the scar.
Yikes.
Admittedly-
Michael K. Williams has that massive scar on his face.
So
Yeah,
it
but he
could have...
always plays gangsters.
And scars are
Exactly.
sexy, though.
It could have been wankier, though, because I know in the fucking books, which now most of them aren't canon, thank goodness, they went as far as to explain why he had a red stripe on his trousers. It wasn't just because he bought pants with a red stripe on them. That red stripe meant something.
Is that like the smuggler's code? Is it like how
Was it
like
because he
sort of-
was
like-
because he
like
was from
how-
a spice planet?
No, it was some sort of
gay
like...
men have like
Oh, yeah. The way they used to...
handkerchiefs?
Yeah, the way they used to
Like,
have
and then-
handkerchiefs meant they were like a bottom or a top, or they were looking
Oh,
if they weren't.
okay.
But they do that with drugs also, like if
Oh,
you're
sure.
carrying or if you're looking.
Yeah, no,
So
it
what-
was,
so what does the red stripe mean? Is it?
It was some
he's
sort of...
DTF or
It means he got his red wings. We already talked about this.
Yeah.
A red cup.
I think it was something to do with, like, because in the books, he actually similarly had originally been in the Imperial military. Though he
Yeah, that was a
specifically...
fun surprise.
That had been in the books, although he was a better officer than he was in the movie.
But was he a gentleman?
But he ultimately lost his position because they, like, sent him to... I think they actually going to be, like, an overseer on Kashyyyk, and he was like, no, I hate this.
See, that makes no sense to me that he was like an actual Imperial officer because of how shitty a job he does impersonating an Imperial officer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why it kind of makes more sense that he was just in this, like, an
Yeah, he was
infantryman
like a
who never made it very far.
Well, but him being really bad at it also explains why he's like, no, they're never going to send TIE fighters after the Falcon, and then they get 4 of them.
Well, yeah,
so
no,
it's actually
it makes sense in this, like the
In
way
this,
they
but
did
in
it
the
in this
original-
movie.
Oh.
If he was supposed to be like some like
high-ranking officer.
yeah, that makes. A little
But yeah,
sense.
so it was like some sort of Carillion military badge of honor thing bullshit.
Oh.
Yeah, it's stupid.
Yeah,
It's just he owned pants with a red
his-
stripe.
So there's this like the
That's what
the
they were on
opening.
sale.
What was I saying? So we didn't really talk too much about Chewie. Obviously, we mentioned that he tears arms off, but apparently he also eats people.
Okay, but again, if you were kept without food for... I would eat people
And
after 3
mistreated.
days.
Well, that makes me
Yeah,
feel
this
really
was-
bad for the Rancor then, because the Rancor is probably like a sentient thing that's like cool, and they just don't feed him a lot, and that's why he tries to eat Luke and that pig monster and gets killed for it.
Or he could just be a really big, stupid animal.
Also, what the fuck? Okay, I was so...
Certainly not
you know what
everything can be sentient,
You know
can
what
they?
my groan moment of this fucking movie was?
What?
Han Solo speaking Chewie.
Oh my god, yeah, it was bad.
That was...
Is that...
I thought he was just drowning.
Yeah, so did I.
Do you think that's why he needed an acting coach? Because I can't make the Chewie sound at all. Like, they really needed somebody to... If I tried to do it, I'd probably sound like I was choking on a dick.
Also,
honestly.
Chewie can understand human English.
That's how my Wookiee... Well, he can after
Or,
spending...
or whatever the
he
language
can
that they're speaking
after
is.
spending a lot of time with Han. But
doesn't
perhaps
spend
they
that much
have
time
a
with Han.
cultural...
No, he already... Because Yoda speaks basic to him in episode 3.
Basic?
That's what they call
English.
English in Star Wars.
Do you think
Everybody
their
is-
version of sign language is visual basic?
Oh.
It's a programming deal.
They're all a bunch of basic bitches in Star Wars.
They're
And
PSLs and
no,
everything.
it's not supposed to be so much that Chewie couldn't understand him. It was just that Chewie was willing to give him a chance when he suddenly spoke Wookiee out. He's like, oh, maybe you're different.
Do you think when they're texting each other, they're using Quick Basic?
Jay.
what's quick basic?
It's another programming joke.
I hope when they're texting each other, they're texting in Wookiee. GRRHR.
So,
And-
well, maybe
and
what it
naked
is,
from the shower.
maybe the explanation. So maybe Chewie obviously understands. I'm going to say English because fuck it. So Chewie obviously
Otherwise, they
understands.
keep making basic jokes.
Yeah. So Chewie understands C++. I mean English.
Java.
Yeah.
Java the Hutt.
He understands English, but maybe having Han speak Chewie at him was sort of like oh, you're cool. You're not one of the
that's what I
bad-
said.
Yeah.
Maybe you're different.
Yeah, it's a recognition thing of like, wait, you've bothered to talk to my people enough to learn
But
the language?
when and how? So as far as we know, Han Solo was born on
Corellia.
His mother was Lady Sovereign or the big worm lady.
Lady Proxima.
Whoa, what?
No, she just raised him. She wasn't actually.
She was
I was
He
like,
was an
what the
orphan.
how does that work?
She took in orphans to do her crime
That's what the
business.
stupid
But
opening
but
text
then
said.
he wasn't probably born there then. Because he had a dad who had a job. We find out that
Yeah,
his
he
dad
worked-
used to build the Falcons.
Yeah, on Corellia. So, I mean, he's from
on
Corellia.
But he wasn't born
But he
into
was
this
gutter
life.
trash, is what we're saying. He was like,
A gutter snipe.
yeah,
Gonna teach him how to be a lady.
yeah. Lady Sovereign was gonna Pygmalium him.
Pygmalium?
But I mean,
Pygmalium.
Pig
either way,
Millennium Falcon.
like, she had contact with all sorts of people and aliens. It's not too hard to believe that at some point there may have been a Wookiee who was around enough that he picked up a few
Could have been a
things.
Wookiee gangster or something.
Yeah.
Could have been
I
a
feel
baby
like- I just
Wookiee.
feel like I don't see him getting exposed to this enough to know, like, because
Maybe his dad
Wookiee
worked with
has
some
got to be
Wookiees.
very hard for humans to
Oh,
do.
yeah.
Because
And also to understand, like, all the different, like, subtleties of.
But he does. He learns it. All of it. He knows everything that Chewie's saying by the time he cacks it in 7. Also, when you're younger, it's easier for you to learn stuff that's not... Like, it's easier for you to... Especially with the sounds. So I wonder if, theoretically, maybe, like, if his dad was building Falcons, the ship number, which we actually got in this film... And
YT 1300.
Yeah, whatever. I'm just kidding, sorry.
Whatever.
But, like, you feel like a Wookiee might be doing that kind of work because Wookiees are super strong, so maybe, like, they had Wookiees working in the factory, so maybe, like, one of his dad's best friends was a Wookiee, and he'd come over for dinner, and they'd have a few drinks, and Han would sit on his lap, and...
But the best sleep you'll ever get is in a Wookiee's lap.
Right,
True.
so maybe his crib was a
Ooh,
Wookiee.
that was the one thing. Rio kept saying Wookiee, and that annoyed me.
He had an accent.
Yeah, it was an accent thing, I think.
It still annoyed me.
speaking of mispronouncing things, I did like how they maintained
Oh.
consistency with Lando saying Han
Instead of
Han.
Han. Yeah.
Why, does he call him Han in the
He
movie?
does.
He does.
That's
Every
fucking
time.
annoying.
But it's more like in the original movie, you're just assuming, oh, that's just Billy D just saying
I mean,
Han.
and it probably was.
Because he's wise ass or whatever. But in this one, they actually made it
Okay.
canonical that Lando likes to get under Han's skin.
That
by
Lando
saying
doesn't
his
give a
name
shit
wrong.
about what your name is.
Yeah.
Though he said Millennium Falcon, I think he said Falcon, and I know that Han called it the Falcon in this film.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So I wonder if he was mispronouncing Han, and then Han was mispronouncing Falcon.
Maybe.
If that was like a...
I think... I don't know. But
Lando
I feel
definitely
like...
called it the Falcon.
Yeah, but I mean, I think Harrison Ford calls it the Falcon.
I know he does,
Oh,
but
okay.
but that's not how you pronounce the word Falcon.
The
So
other,
where
the
did
other
it
thing
come
is
from?
that the original Star Wars trilogy was just rife with no one being consistent.
Gallifrey.
Because, like, depending on who was talking to Leia, she was either Leia or Leia. It was the Falcon or the Falcon, depending upon who the actor was. It was just... If they're gonna need to canonize every pronunciation issue, we're gonna have
Well,
some
they
busy
really
places.
should. But, like, I remember at the end of Empire, I seem to remember Luke mispronouncing Tatooine. I feel like.
Yeah, he said Pittsburgh by
We'll
accident.
see on
Tatooine's way nicer than Pittsburgh.
Tatooine.
Ouch.
Maybe I'm mistaken. I don't remember. But also, I didn't get a good look at... It looked like...
Proxima.
What's his name? No, Darth
Voss.
Vader. Darth Maul.
Maul.
Darth Maul.
Maul.
Darth
Darth
Peter
Maul.
Maul. Darth Maul.
Danny Glover.
He looks like he got a new lightsaber.
He did. It had, like, some
A
extra
lightsaber?
jaggy bits on it that
Yeah.
his didn't have.
I wonder if it still gets longer when he turns it on.
Ah.
Like
You
the-
wonder if he's a grower, not a shower?
well, his old one was definitely a grower.
Yes.
You think it's double-ended again?
I hope
It
so.
I hope so, too,
I'm pretty
because
sure
I
it was.
love
I
that
That's
feel
a
like
signature thing.
I know.
I also like
Shit's
that you
great.
could cut it in half and make two.
yeah.
Well, I don't think it was cut in half. I think it was meant to...
No, it gets cut in half
like,
during the fight.
Oh, it wasn't meant to be two? That you could just go bleep together?
Yeah,
maybe
That
you
doesn't
could.
seem like it would work. That seems like you would have just destroyed the
Yeah,
mechanism
well, that's what you
inside
think,
of it.
but it's like an earthworm. If you cut it in half, you get two
It's
earthworms.
like a Darth Maul.
Yeah.
You cut it in half, you get two Darth Mauls.
Oh, there are two of them.
Alright. So this is standing to be our longest episode since the motion picture. Does everyone have some final thoughts? What did you call my mother?
Shit, you know. That's my closing thought. Your mom. No, I liked it. I found it entertaining, and actually I said this on the way to the movie theater. So, growing up, my favorite musical was Phantom of the Opera, and Sir Andrew Lloyd Webber, made a sequel based on some fan fiction that was published in the 90s. Now, I bring this up because the sequel was terrible, the soundtrack was bad, it is, universally hated, it's awful. I saw that earlier this year, and I went into it knowing that it was terrible. And so when I saw it, I walked out of it being like, you know what, that was actually, it wasn't horrible. It was way better than I expected, and, I didn't
watched
hate
Star
it.
Trek 5.
Yeah, well, I had seen Star Trek 5 before we watched it anyway. But the point is my opinion of what Solo was going to be was so low. Did not mean to do that. But it was my expectations were so low that, honestly, just the fact that I was entertained and had some laugh out loud moments, it made it a worthwhile 6.5 hours of my life. How long was this movie?
It did feel like it kept going.
Long.
Yeah, it was a little lengthy. When we were only just on our way to get the unrefined coaxium, I was like, holy shit, we've already been here for 2 days. What?
Yeah, it did also kind of in some ways it felt less like a movie and more like 3 episodes of a TV show.
Yeah, it was
that
a
they sorta
mini-series and they
strung together.
much like this episode of this podcast.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you, Caitlin. I was very, very low expectations, and it exceeded those. Like I say, it did not wank as hard as it could have.
Nope.
Even in the shower scene.
In a good way or a bad way?
In a good way, I would say.
The correct amount of wank?
I prefer less wank, more stank.
2 in the... 1 in the tank, 1 in the...
Ames?
I got nothing.
Alright, well, yeah, no, I also, again, went in not expecting much and walked away much more pleased than I expected to be.
Yeah,
the one thing I didn't say, I did like the prettied up Falcon. Prettied up
before
Falcon.
it got wrecked?
Falcon.
And I'll make it
Red
quick.
cup.
But
You're out of your Falcon mind.
was the one thing I was saying to Caitlin last night is when you see the original Star Wars and they walk in and there's this ship and we as the audience at this point all we've seen of this world is the Empire attacking the rebels in Tatooine in the cantina and we see this ship and wow, that's cool, and then Luke goes, what a piece of junk, and you're like, oh. So to see this version of it, with its paint not destroyed, with its interior all nice and all that shit, it's oh, that's what I see. It wasn't the design, it's the fact that Han has just fucking kicked the shit out of what was a nice vehicle. Also, thing that wasn't something I noticed, but that the internet did, was that we get now a third variant on the Falcon saucer, or radar dish, because Han had the upright round one, originally. In the sequels, it's an upright rectangular one. In this, it's round, but it's kind of flat and almost flush with the fuselage. And
I'm sorry, a what? Fuselage?
I mean the hull, not fuselage.
But what's a fuselage?
I think I used that word wrong. I don't know. I meant hull. But anyway, people suggest that's the reason, where they're suggesting in the movie that's why Lando knocked the saucer off, the radar dish off in Jedi, was because when he owned the Falcon, it was much flatter. But it was very pretty. I like the paint job.
No, fuselage is the main body of an aircraft.
Okay, so that's right.
Yeah.
Sort of. But that's all. We forgot to talk about the pretty up Falcon. I thought it was very pretty.
Well, that's your job. You're the expert on
asshole, yeah.
ship. Well, I wasn't.
I also thought it was neat how they had in the forks, they kind of explained what the forks were for.
Oh, the cargo mandibles.
Use the forks, Luke?
No, the thing at the front where they had the escape pod.
Oh no, Lando put that in. That was in dialogue.
This is really hard to eat. Use the forks,
Wait,
Luke!
so they didn't explain why it was
Thank you,
there?
Ames.
Hold on. I thought they said, that's where the escape... I thought that they
It
jettisoned
sucks
the
because now we have
escape
to keep
pod.
it for that joke while
and
they're talking
that,
about
and that
porn
was
shit.
what was in between the forks. Was
Yeah,
the
no.
escape
So
pod.
Lando added that thing between the forks.
Oh, so then their forks still have no purpose.
They're the cargo mandibles.
What the fuck is a man... Like a bug?
So,
Yeah.
so
Do we
Lando,
care enough to put it in the episode? Because it's very late.
I'll make it very quick. Lando called them the cargo mandibles. And this is a reference to unused stuff from earlier versions of the film that suggests the way this weird little ship can be a cargo vehicle is because those mandibles lock onto larger cargo containers and push them.
Oh.
Oh, like a forklift.
Kind
It's
of,
a
yeah.
Ship.
Fork ship.
So anyway, that is why it has that weird front. It's to push
Oh,
cargo.
I thought that... Okay, I was like very satisfied with that's where the escape pod...
No, that was aftermarket by Lando.
Gotcha.
That was in dialogue.
Okay.
Also, I still don't understand why they detached the escape pod.
To
To
feed
distract-
Cthulhu.
Cthulhu followed the escape pod and fell into the black hole.
Oh, is that why?
It's like why like a octopus can tear its arm off and throw it somewhere.
It's
Yeah.
like, why would you jettison Finney?
Well, because he was an asshole.
there's good reasons to suggest.
Oh, okay.
And with that segue, we will be back to Star Trek
Oh,
and
we
our
had
friend Finney next week. So then, this has been A Star to Steer Her by 10 Forward number 8, Solo, A Star Wars Story.
It's going to be awesome when we get to 10 forward number 10.
Mm.
And
The 10-10 forward. 10-10 220.
Thank you very much for joining us. Like I said, we'll be back to Star Trek next week. As always, you can find us on Facebook as A Star to Steer Her By. We are on Twitter and Tumblr as SSHB Podcast. And please subscribe to us on your favorite podcasting application. As always, this has been Chris.
this has been Ames.
This has been Caitlin.
And this is always Jake.
And this is the Black Cat. He's being feisty.
Oh,
Ratty
very
boy.
feist.
Thank you very much for listening.
Be sure to tip your yeoman.